Hi, welcome back to Dr. Shatabdi's YouTube channel. So, today I'm going to talk about something that not many of us have the courage to share with fellow medical writers, which is what exactly happens when you are transitioning from your clinical practice into medical writing, or for that matter, any other when you are switching careers, right? So, this is going to be a very raw, authentic, and thoughtful video that I'll be sharing with all of you. And this is one of the first videos, long form videos that I'm doing for this channel. So, bear with me if there are little, awkward moments or moments where I just stop and pause and try to process my thoughts. So, just bear with me. So to begin with, first of all, I transitioned into medical writing from my career of being a pediatric dental surgeon. After being in this field for around 12 years, I finally moved into a new career. So it was 10 years of my academics, graduation and post graduation, and almost 2.5 years of being exclusively into pediatric clinical dentistry, so into clinical practice. After that, I kind of moved away from clinical practice into this medical writing field. That was around the COVID period, 2019-20, and I was fresh out of my post graduation, and I was kind of trying to figure out things because dental clinics at that moment were not running, they had all shut down. So I had to do something with my time, and that was exactly when I decided to pursue something that I have always loved since my childhood, which is writing. But I had never heard about medical writing. I did not know that there was a career out there was a field out there, industry around medical writing. So somehow I started Googling around what kind of careers or what kind of things I could do with my writing, and finally I came across this medical writing niche. Again, after a deep search in Google, I found out that this was something that kind of aligned with my love for reading, writing, researching, and I thought maybe I can give it a try. That is how it started, and then so after kind of just thinking it out in my mind that this is something I would like to give a try, then the struggle started. So when my friends and colleagues were busy setting up their clinics and kind of moving ahead with their dental careers, I decided to move away from what I have been doing for the last 10-12 years, and I decided to kind of start something new. And so the first thing that I noticed when I started talking to my family members, my parents, that this was something that I wanted to move ahead with, the first thing that I noticed was the question in their eyes. uh, Maybe it was a silent question, but it was asking me that why are you deciding to move away from such a respected and such a prestigious career after being and putting all your efforts into this field, studying so hard, doing everything right, why have you decided to move away? Now, to give you some context, I have been one of the toppers in my dental career, so in my academics basically. And so it was again more of a kind of shock to them that I was completely moving away from this field and I was trying to do something completely different this time. um, so that was the first thing that I noticed. But of course, to some extent, they also understood that I wanted to get going in with something that I really would love to do. And they kind of supported me, especially my parents, to some extent, of course, but still they had their own questions, and I had no answers to those questions at that particular point of time, because even I was not sure how this particular career would shape out for me, right? So after kind of deciding that and talking it out with my parents, I kind of started looking for internships around medical writing. It took me some time, around 6 to 7 months of job hunting, to land my first internship as a medical writer, trainee medical writer. But that particular phase, if I have to go back to that particular phase was really very kind of, I would say, not a very good phase to be in. So firstly, I was back to square one. So maybe a month earlier, I was treating patients, I was kind of engaging with parents of children, trying to give them advice on how to keep their children's teeth neat and clean, and how to kind of come for regular follow-ups, what kind of toothbrushes to use, what kind of pastes to use. And the next month, I was a trainee, or I was in a fresher position. I was being guided. Okay, I was the youngest person in a team. So that shift was a huge thing for me, had a huge influence on me, and I realized that right now I have to be the learner. I have to learn everything from scratch once again. And yeah, so I had kind of put it inside my mind that this is something that you need to, you know, uh, come back to with a learner mindset. And slowly I realized that the financial aspect of it was also going to be very slow at this point of time, because of course I was going in as a trainee with a medical communications company or agency, and as a trainee, of course I will be getting a stipend, but that would be a very small amount as compared to what I was already earning as a pediatric dental surgeon. So these were the two major challenges, not challenges, I would say these were the two learning curves that I had to navigate during that particular phase, um, which was kind of good, and to some extent it was kind of embarrassing also. At that point of time, it felt a little bit embarrassing, to be very honest, because I could see my colleagues, I could see my friends in the dental fraternity move ahead, doing their clinics, setting up their practices, doing consultations, making that amount of money which even I could have done. But again, I reminded myself that this is what I have chosen to do right now, and so I have to bear with the consequences, right? So that was one part of it. And the second thing was the fear of missing out. When you see your friends, your colleagues, everybody around you with whom you have grown up doing well in life and kind of moving ahead as planned, and when you step away from it and decide to do something different for yourself, so that is one of the biggest fears that come to your mind, which is, so what are the things you are missing out? So am I missing out on my clinical practice? Should I have done better if I had continued my clinical practice? Am I just jumping at a career which would be a disaster going ahead? Did I even know something about it, or was it just my instinct? So a lot of questions, a lot of confusion, a lot of kind of thoughts, random thoughts come to your mind. And to be very honest, 6 years ago when I started, I did not have any answers to these questions. I had nobody to talk to, I had nobody to discuss these things, because I come from a background where my cousins and brothers and sisters are all doctors, and that was what was expected out of me also, and that was what exactly I expected out, like, from myself also, for a certain point of time. But then again, you got to do what you got to do, as they say, and this was my calling. So yes, slowly I started. um, I took up that trainee position. I went on and did that internship for 6 months. I got paid a small stipend, and gradually I understood the industry. Gradually I moved ahead. But it was a very challenging phase at that particular point of time, especially when you are moving from conventional careers to some non-conventional careers which people don't usually know about. There are a lot of questions around what you do, who you are, why have you decided to move into this field. So even today, I get a lot of questions around what is the kind of work that I do, what exactly do I write, and how do I manage to do everything from my home. So I can see a lot of questions whenever I am at family gatherings, I meet my friends. So even today, that clarity is not there, which is fine. I absolutely understand. But at that point of time, when you are trying to, figure out something, and then somebody asks you all these questions, uh, your confidence kind of shakes once again, and you kind of cannot uh, move ahead with all those random thoughts. But again, I decided to go ahead with it, and today I am 6 years into this field. I am working as a medical writer, and I have transitioned to being a full-time medical writer. I have also been an editor. I am an editor right now, and yeah, so I also mentor medical writers. So I have come a long way, of course. Uh, but the learnings that I carry from those particular challenging phases are this: that you need to do what you need to do, even if a lot of questions, even if a lot of eyes are upon you at that point of time. um, you need to be strong. You need to understand that at this point of time you have to learn, and you have to put your head down and do the work, do the groundwork, um, and just keep moving ahead one day at a time. You might not have a long term plan. You might not have a, you might not be able to see 5 years later what happens with you, but you need to take one day at a time and move ahead with it, because that's the only way we can move ahead. And I wish all the best to any one of you who are kind of deciding to transition um, into different careers, maybe a medical writer, maybe a reviewer, an editorial role, or any other kind of clinical, non-clinical roles from your clinical background. If you are going ahead with it, if you have decided to pursue it, all the best to you. um, just remember that this is your path to take, this is your road to travel, and you can do it absolutely. So with that, I would like to end today's video. If any one of you resonated with whatever I have said today, whatever I have shared with all of you today, please let me know in the comment section. And this is a brand new channel, and thank you all of you who have subscribed to my channel recently. And I have around 40 of you, you know, subscribing to my channel. Thank you very much. And yeah, so that's for today. I'll see you on another day with another topic on medical writing and life experiences and life journeys. Thank you.